The following program is video supplemental instruction. VSI is brought to you by the Teaching Center, UF's Learning Support Center, www.teachingcenter.ufl.edu.
For number 15, we're asked to find if a is positive, to find find a squared plus a to the negative 2 if a to the 1/2 plus a to the negative 1/2 equals 3. So what you might think is this looks pretty similar to the last one we did in problem 8, where we don't have a quadratic form, but we might be able to factor out. Now you could do that. This would actually take a really long time to do that way. This is a specific form that you should try to get familiar with, because there's a much easier way to approach this. So this special form is when you have the same base, no coefficients, and your powers are equal, but one's negative and one's positive, and it can equal anything. When you have something like this, you can easily double the powers by just squaring both sides, because when you FOIL, something is going to cancel out every time. So again, this is if you have equal powers, one positive, one negative, no coefficients, that type of stuff. When you see one like this, you always want to square both sides. So when we square both sides, obviously on the right side we get 9 here. So let's think about what happens when you FOIL this out. The first term is going to be a to the 1/2 times a to the 1/2, which is just a. The middle terms, the outside and inside, are going to be if you multiply a to the 1/2 times a to the negative 1/2. And when you do that, remember that you add exponents when you multiply things with the same base. 1/2 minus 1/2 would be 0, so we just get 1, because anything to the 0 power is 1. And we get that for the outside and the inside. And finally, the last term is a to the negative 1/2 times a to the negative 1/2. That gives us a to the negative 1. So you can see here what happens is if we subtract these two over, we end up with a pretty similar looking equation to what we had, except now our powers are 1 and negative 1 instead of half and negative 1/2, and our number changed. But we can just do the same process again. If we square both sides again, now our powers will go from 1 and negative 1 to 2 and negative 2, which is exactly what we want here. So let's square this one more time. So we're going to do a plus a to the negative 1 squared equals 7 squared. Over here, of course, we get 49. Here we're going to get a squared plus 1 plus 1 plus a to the negative 2. And now by subtracting the 2 over, we get that a squared plus a to the negative 2 is equal to 47. So this is just a specific form that you're going to want to memorize so that you don't need to go about it the long way, essentially, and try to factor out and all that stuff there. Instead, you can just square both sides. You'll keep doubling the powers, so then if the question was, what is it if they're to the 4 and negative 4, you would just need to square both sides again. You can continually do that to double the powers on a problem like this.
The Teaching Center, UF's Learning Support Center, www.teachingcenter.ufl.edu.